Hello and welcome to Gutter Farms. We're back with another episode of Farmville, North Carolina. I think we're just going to go ahead and get started in on this field and tackle it straight away. It looks like we will be able to use the worker on the straight parts of this because you can always tell when terrain lines run. You know that the worker can at a minimum go in that direction. But we do have an irrigation ditch along that whole side of the field, so we're going to have to be careful over there for sure. I know how much the hired help likes to put equipment into the ditch. And then this field right across the road from us is also the other contract field that we have to knock out here. So lots of fields right here to be able to do all these oats. Now, I guess the other contract is technically finished from a field perspective, but we haven't hauled any of our grain up to the elevator here. Luckily, or maybe not luckily, I picked these contracts on purpose. They're all oat contracts, so I think they all need to go to the same place. If we look here, you can see field 18 is oats to the GW co-op. Field 21 is oats to the GW co-op, and field 25 we were working on is also oats to the GW co-op. And so I think the plan is to just do all three of these contracts, load the truck up, and then when we bring it up there, as soon as one contract is delivered for oats, it should automatically start dumping into the next contract. And so we'll be able to knock out all three contracts with a single truckload up there. I don't know if all three of these will fit into a single truck. It seems like it's going to be pretty close to that, though. I know, we've got not even a full grain cart sitting back on the other field there right now, and the truck will hold almost a full grain cart in the front and the back compartments. So I'm thinking that we will be able to get most of these three contracts, at least these two contracts, into one truck, if not all three. So that's the plan, is to keep harvesting until we've got enough to completely fill up the truck before we run it up to the co-op to knock these contracts out. I think what we'll do is take a little bit out of this corner just to make sure we stay away from the tree line here. And then I'm going to take one more headland pass off on the other end, and we'll let the worker go on some of these, I'll call it safer up-down rows on this side of the field that we're on right here. And then I will come and get the grain cart and bring it out here. We are already at 32%. I expect by the time I get this other headland off, we'll be up to 50% of the hopper full. So I think that's going to be our plan here. And then looking at that big field across the way, I'm thinking maybe we'll let Courseplay help us out and knock that field out. That'll let me go back up to the farm and get the truck while Courseplay's opening up the field and stuff like that. I think that's going to be our plan today. We've got it all figured out. Now, given our problems on the previous field there, I'm going to take a third pass off on this end. Plus, it just puts me back on the side of the field that I want to start the helper off on today. But I didn't do three passes on the other end there, but we got a lot of grass up by the tree. That curved side is going to be a problem, though, once we get over there. What I'm hoping is I can get the helper going on this end and get back with the grain cart before we get over to that angled side of the field. And I can just take back over and do the driving over there. We did come to 52%, so I'm getting a little bit better at estimating capacity here for oats. I haven't done a lot of oat harvesting over the years, so it's always fun to jump into some different crops. And we're going to grab the grain cart. Oh, the grain cart's fuller than I thought it was. We're up to 82% of this grain cart, so we're going to need to go get that truck sooner than I thought, before we finish this field, it looks like. So that's all right. We'll get the combine emptied, and maybe I can get back out here with the truck before the combine gets to the angled rows as well. We'll see. This is all right up near our farm, so it's not too bad. And jumping in cab here too to continue our experiments with relight. It is quite bright out here. I guess it is July. It would be quite bright in real life, but I don't know. I'm still adjusting. I don't know if I like how it changes depending on where you look, and it changes quite drastically. And I know maybe that's more realistic. I don't know. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. We've been playing around with the lighting the last couple of episodes here, and I'm just trying to decide which way I like it. Nope, we didn't quite get there. There we go. We're trying to get our speed set up right and not crash into things. There we go. Oh, I'm all full. So I think what we'll do, we'll jump back out here into third person, and I'm gonna go put this on the end of the field. And man, I'm really not thinking that the hired help is gonna be able to handle this irrigation ditch. We're gonna jump back into the combine here, and I'm gonna go take off another couple passes along the angled rows here. I'm just not feeling confident. I don't want to come back to a wrecked combine, needing to fish it out of the ditch. That is not a great way to spend your morning. I'd much rather be getting things harvested here. And once again, if you didn't catch it in the previous episode, this is a updated header that Pleasant View Farms sent my way. It's working great. It matches up with the combine a bit more than the reskinned, I think it was a case header that we had before. I can't quite recall. But this is working good. Love seeing some new additions coming here to the older equipment. Very fun to get out here and be trying some different things out in this series. Alright, that should do it for the angled rows. I'm gonna just run right back over here and keep working on it from the side with the longest rows, just to make life easy here. I don't think we're gonna be full enough that I even need to start unloading again yet, but we'll check that. Turn our HUD back on. We're at 45%. We might as well let this guy go. I was gonna say let's go grab the grain cart and unload, but the grain cart's full, so let's grab the truck and get this out to the field. I have to say I do like larger equipment and the semis and things like that, but this grain truck with the pup trailer just works so nice on especially the smaller farm here. It's so much easier to get around. It would be really hard, I think, to be trying to navigate around with a big semi here. I could use I could use I could use gravity wagons and a tractor on the farm this size and get away with that pretty easily as well. This grain truck, though, with the trailer is just a little bit more capacity than I would get out of a couple of gravity wagons. So this has been working out great. It gives me that capacity and the speed. I love being able to go, 50 miles an hour down the road and get my stuff up to the elevator quickly, especially because, the elevator is on the other side of the map. It takes a minute to get over there. And so this is working out really well. It looks like our hired help has decided that they don't know how to keep going on this field, though. That's unfortunate. At least he was able to complete the first round. I don't know why he stopped up there. It's such a weird spot to stop when there's a whole chunk of field next to him. I was expecting him to have trouble on the angled rows. I think what we're going to do is actually get this truck turned around while it's empty and park it right back over here on the grass facing back towards our path. Straighten it out a bit so that it's not total hell for our grain cart driver. And quite honestly, that's going to be a bit of a pain to get back there with the grain cart anyway. We didn't think this through, folks. Alright, tell you what, since we only have to dump into him once here, in theory, I guess we can just back the trailer up down the path here. Definitely not optimal. I just can't help but be used to thinking about where we park the truck before we load it up, kind of a thing. I don't want him to get stuck out in the field here. I know that's not really a thing to worry about with Farm Sim. It's just the farmer in me, I guess, a little bit, making sure that you always park the truck on a solid surface when possible. Kept it out of the field when it's full, whenever possible. While that's unloading, I'm going to go ahead and jump back in here and see if we can set this worker off again. I'm so confused as to why He didn't just grab the next row here, but that's life. We're going to go ahead and send him on his way. And the grain cart has finished dumping in the front. Oh, we've still got a little bit. We'll go ahead and put this back here into the trailer. There we go. And I'm going to leave the pipe out. We're going to not fill up the grain cart, but I might as well fill up the truck with whatever we get out of this field before we pull it on out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and unload the combine again on his way back up here. I'm sure it's nowhere near full, but just for the fun of it, make sure that without doubt we can get the rest of this field off and into the combine without having to stop would be nice. Normally on such short rows I'd be worried about not being able to empty the combine, but this thing is got a supercharge on the pipe here, so we'll get it empty no problem. Oh, there was more in the combine than I thought. We got 150 bushels out of there, so that's pretty good. We'll keep going here to the end just to get it topped off. There we go. Looking good, looking good. We'll go ahead and just run this back down here, and I don't know, I'll toss it right into the truck. I think we can unload the combine at the end here into the truck before we pack everything up and head out to the last field here in our series of contracts that we're working on. I think if I was playing like a role-play, realistic multiplayer server, I'd want to look into, I think there's a mod that lets you trigger whether your pipe is on or off. Because I always hate that it starts unloading when I'm at like a really awkward angle. It just looks so unrealistic to me, so I'd love to see, I think there's a mod for that where you can trigger it on and off. I wouldn't want to use that when I'm just doing stuff on my own a lot though, because I don't think it'd work very well with Courseplay unloading and stuff like that, and I'd hate to lose the ability to leverage Courseplay just so that occasionally when I'm running stuff on my own I can have a more realistic experience. So it's always a trade-off. Looks like this should be our final pass here. We'll have just a little bit to clean up here on the end. I could probably have tried to squeeze in a couple more feet there, but that's all right. We're gonna get the last little bits here, and we should be done with this field now, leaving just that one field across the road. Unfortunately, there's no driveway here to jump across the road. We have to sneak our way back out down this path, and I have to say, this is one of those things that I really like about this map, is I feel like the field entrances and stuff are much more realistic. On the farms that we used to farm when I was a younger man, we had a lot of fields that were kind of like this, where there was only one way to get into a number of fields. Even though it ran along a road, there might be an irrigation ditch in that road ditch, or, you know, any number of reasons why. And so you always had to kind of sneak around and get into fields through some different interesting ways. And so I love when mappers spend a little bit of time thinking through the design of how their fields and farms and stuff are set up. I feel like this map has done an awesome job of that. I love the slightly curved fields everywhere. Everything feels natural, and yeah, it makes working with hired helpers a little bit more difficult. Although I feel like Courseplay for the most part can handle all of the fields on this map at least. But I don't know, I just love a good natural feeling map for sure. So we're gonna jump back out here onto the road and see if we can figure out where the field entrance is for field 18 here. I'm guessing it's all the way down on the other end past the field, although we could probably sneak in right here, because I'm not actually seeing a driveway down there. It looks steeper down there, if anything. So we're gonna sneak in right, maybe up here's a little shallower actually. Our traffic is getting impatient with my driving here. Oh yeah, it is shallower up here. The lighting just confused me, threw me off a little bit, so I'm gonna come all the way down to this corner we're gonna turn the head on and cut out a chunk of the corner here, like so. And yeah, we're gonna take this whole corner out just to give us a little bit of room. And then yeah, I think like we said earlier, we're gonna use Courseplay on this field. It's a little bit bigger, and we're gonna have to run the grain truck up to the elevator here shortly, so I think it makes sense to just jump into Courseplay here. So if we come into the hired helper menu here, we're gonna create a Courseplay fieldwork job. We're gonna set the field position to there. We're set our target position to the corner, and we're gonna generate based on one tool with 3 headlands. We're gonna try sharp corners this time. Clockwise direction, field center, we're gonna do lands mode again and generate. That looks like a good course to me. So we're gonna go ahead and exit out of that. And oh, it looks like it wants us to start right around the corner here. So let's cut this out ourselves just a little bit so I can get down there with the header facing the right way. So I need to do a quick U-turn here to be facing our starting waypoint. All right, so we're all lined up here. We've got it set to go to the first waypoint. Let's hit the start button and see what happens. We've got the sharp corners selected, so I'm hoping that means we're gonna kind of go up to the corner, then back up and go the other way. So that's what I'd like it to do. Yeah. That's a good way to knock those corners out for sure. It's gonna take a little bit longer, but it's gonna get the job done here, it looks like. Unfortunately, I was thinking this was a problem with getting to the edges of the map, but it looks like we're getting stuck here trying to go forward again like we were on the other field. I don't know what's going on with that aspect of Courseplay lately. I'm gonna have to take a look at some of my other settings here soon. See if I can figure that out, but in the meantime, we're gonna just point this guy this way and hit the start button on nearest waypoint, and hopefully he's able to figure this out and keep going. And while he's doing that, we're gonna start bringing equipment across the road from the other field here. We'll start with the grain cart because we are gonna need to unload at some point here. And then we'll also get that truck brought over here and parked up on the headland, because it's not quite full yet, and I want to make sure we get that topped off before we head up to the elevator. It's gonna be a little tricky. I don't know how I would feel about getting a full truck down into this ditch over here. We'll probably end up parking the truck right up here on the grass along the edge of this field. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know if I want to try and get it all the way down into this field through the ditch, at least not while it's full. I think I could probably pull out of here with enough speed on the truck, but I don't know. This is a pretty busy road, though. And yeah, it looks like our combine is going to get stuck on every corner trying to turn back in. I don't know what's going on with this. Maybe sharp mode is not the best mode for our corners here. It's the mode that would have us avoid losing the most crops, I feel like, but Courseplay just doesn't seem to be keeping up with us very well here. We're going to turn on Allow Using Pathfinder in Turns and see if that helps us out any. I don't see any other settings here that are really related to that. I mean, I think the only other problem would be if I turned off the Stay on Fields option, and that might allow us to handle turning better. Maybe it's just detecting that it's too close to the edge of the field there. I'm not sure. We will play around with this. We'll see if it handles this next turn on its own. So it looks like we're still getting stuck even with that setting. I'm going to turn off only turning on field. And I don't know if that's going to work because we're already in the stuck state. So we'll go ahead and get this going. That also might only change things while it's generating the course. I don't know. But we'll get this going again. And I think you'll have an easier time here on the curved parts since we're not really stopping to do sharp corners. We're following the path of the field, so hopefully we won't get stuck again here. And the second pass shouldn't be the same problem as the first pass because we'll be on the field already. At least I think that's what's going on, but no, man, we are just having all kinds of problems on the edges of the field. I don't know what's going on. We weren't having all these same problems. I mean, we're having similar problems on the other field that we were doing, I guess, but this is definitely not working optimally for us here. So I guess what we'll do is just knock out the headland row here ourselves, and then hopefully we'll be able to kick Courseplay back off on the normal up and down rows. I was getting ready to sing the praises of Courseplay and how easy it makes things, and we're having kind of a rough episode here, so I guess things still need a little bit of work here and there. We did upgrade to the latest version. We're on 7.1.1.4. Oh, we're not on the latest version. I'm pretty sure there's a 7.1.1.5 out now that I thought I had upgraded to, but apparently we missed. 7.1.1.5 adds a lot of improvements to the Courseplay unloader. And so maybe what we'll do is after we get around the headland here, I will go and swap that in, and we'll see if that works out any better for us here, knocking out this last field of the contract. I'd love to see if the unloader is still working as well as it was previously. We had a couple of issues with it in the other field we did with the barley a couple episodes back, and all of the issues that I think I ran into with the unloader itself were things that I specifically saw fixes for in the release notes of the 7.1.1.5 Courseplay update. So I'm really excited to see updates keep coming out that are addressing the minor issues and things that seem to crop up from time to time. So exciting times for sure. All right, so what I think I'm gonna do is get this guy up here onto the next headland pass, and then we'll try to start the Courseplay driver off again here. Doing nearest waypoint is always interesting because you got to make sure that you're not on any courses that overlap. So I think that's going to be good. That looks like a sufficiently small number here. And I'd really like it if he could make the corner up here and start going down the long row, and then we can unload him. We're getting full in a hurry here. We're at 92%, 93, we'll make it to the end. I'm more curious right now, is he going to be able to handle making this sharp corner on its own? I'm not sure. Nope, it's just going to have a struggle. Well, we'll turn it off and do it ourselves. Maybe it's just this sharp corner mode that isn't working well. I don't know. Either way, we're going to let the combine start going here and jump into our grain cart. I am going to do this manually because the combine did just get full. We didn't quite get here in time to keep it moving, but I think it'll start back up here as soon as we start unloading. There we go. And we'll get this first bit unloaded here. I'm gonna have to babysit the combine a little bit, unfortunately, getting around the bottom part of this field, because I don't really want to redo the course with a different turn mode, because, well, I'd have to start back up in that corner and figure out where we're at. I don't want to deal with it. So we're gonna just babysit the combine here around the headlands a bit, and then we'll hopefully have enough space in the grain cart here to do that, and then we'll go get the truck once we get going on the normal rows here. So we babysat this guy around the second headland pass. We did run into a number of issues. I'm really hoping now that we've got the third pass coming here that this is going to work better. Let's find out. I hope he can make this corner. That would be so nice if we could kind of step away, and it looks like he's figured it out. So it's just those first couple passes around the outside of the field that seem to be causing us any grief at all. Now that we're into the third pass, all's well with the world. So I'm going to let this guy do his thing. We're going to jump over here into the grain cart and unload one more time. I know I said I was going to go and update Courseplay in between this. I wanted to see if the Courseplay course for the Combine was going to start behaving or not. And so we may just run with this for a moment, and I'll go ahead and update the Courseplay course right after we get him unloaded here. All right, we're all empty here. I think we are going to stop everything here real quick before we get to the end. And just looking at the clock here real quick, I think this is a great place to wrap up today's episode. That's all for today. Ketterk out. Gotta clean up the row of shame over here. It's not my fault. It was the worker, I swear. Oh, I didn't quite make it into the row that I wanted to. That was quite the swing there, GPS. This is unfortunate. What a mess. What a mess.